When I started working in no code, I learned very quickly that most people don't understand what the term automation means. And that's because they think that automations are simply recurring invoices or being able to schedule out emails. There's so much more that you can do in your business if you're willing to save yourself some time by investing in no code automation. So that's what I want to do in this video, is break down what no code is and how this can help small business owners. So if you've been looking to save yourself a lot of time, you've come to the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going? This is Eric with SolveCycle Solutions. If you're new here, I help save people time by automating the work that they hate, by implementing no-code and AI-based solutions so they can focus on what they love instead. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the term no-code and try and break down what it means for people who may not be familiar with these tools yet, try and bust some myths that I have heard when talking with other people, and show a few very practical examples of how no-code automation is so much more than just basic reminder settings in calendars or other things. So if you look up the definition of no code, it is basically going to be something along the lines of no code are tools or softwares that allow you to quickly build workflows, apps, and different software and databases, all without having to know anything about coding. Everything that I've done in my business, I actually don't really know how to code at all. It's just been through using tools like Make, SmartSuite, and Fillout that have made my work so much easier to and be more consistent in it. So this can be a couple of things. It can be connecting multiple softwares that you use so that they're able to work all in one without having to move data from one place to another. It could be having information now being fed into something like AI. To clarify though, one of the common misconceptions I get a lot is that this no-code automation is not AI. The use of no code is meant to be more for, I consider it logic-based, or by meeting certain criteria and having triggers that run certain automations. AI right now is just going to be generative, so it's that if you put information in, it will output something. Now, of course, as soon as I publish this video, there's going to be some AI pilot or some kind of agent that's going to be able to engage on your computer and start doing more of these things. And that's a whole other conversation. But these are tools that can help you isolate repetitive tasks that can be moved through these workflows and softwares without you having to do all of the manual, tedious labor. So let's hop in my screen here and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a tool that I use called SmartSuite. This is a no-code database software, so it allows me to collect information that is relevant to my needs, and I have the ability to customize the specific input data that I am using. So you might see information like this where it looks like a spreadsheet in Excel, and you would be right, but it allows us to have specific types of fields. So we could have text information, we could have currency, you can have drop-down menus where you could type in, say, yes or no, and you can allow specific pieces of information to be tailored to whatever answers or whatever information you need to keep in this setup. Let's take a look at how I can collect people's information using an additional software called Fillout. Fillout is specifically designed as a no-code form that allows you to map data from or into specific sources, and it allows you to do a lot of other really cool things like scheduling meetings as well as setting up payment portals. So I'm able to just quickly integrate this tool into SmartSuite. So I can go down into a test setup that I have here, and you'll see that I'm able to properly link this to the correct page that I had back in SmartSuite. Now, if I go back to the edit part of this form, you'll see that they have pieces of information that I can pull up from the SmartSuite tool, which is incredible. So I could put specific information that I want, like I had this single select here, and it could be, are you happy? Yes or no. I could put other information like, do you prefer baseball or soccer? But then additionally, I could add new fields here as well. But then you can have things like collecting email addresses. You can collect all the information here, but the other powerful feature is that I'm able to just click and drag this and see what it looks like and kind of test it in real time. So if I'm not happy with this "are you happy" question first, I can bump that down and click and drag it. And so instead of having to code all of this or pay a lot of money to have some unique form software or pay a cheap amount for software that's very frustrating, this one is just very smooth and allows me to quickly build things with my own time. I can basically use this information, so I can input all this data here and then publish it, so that if I were to test this out, and you'll see that I'm going to go ahead and remove this person, or Eric fake name, but I can fill out this form and I can put in, say, I make videos. I can fill out this information as needed, and then I can put my contact information here. I can specify baseball and "are you happy?" and say yes. All this information is able to instantly go into this database. So this is one aspect of no-code tools helping save you time, in that it allows your softwares to communicate, so you're not having to monitor multiple places at once and move those data from different silos and keep eating up more of your time. Now you may be thinking to yourself, that's pretty neat, Eric, but that's not a whole lot that I can do that's going to save me so much time that seems worthwhile. And I get that, but there's so much more that you can just begin to understand once you see how some of these tools work together. So let's go back into Fillout, and you'll see that if I were to add a page here, I can set up a scheduling event here. And this is you can set this up for free. So long as you have a Google account, you can create this example booking here, like I've set up, and specify to add this to Google. And so you're not having to pay the $20 for something like Calendly. But what I can do is, once this is submitted, if I were to book this again, maybe I want to keep track of how many times someone books a call with me here. So what I could do instead is I could have this information get mapped out here in SmartSuite, but maybe I want to have a separate table that keeps track of how many times someone is in a meeting. So this is basically just saying, here's the meeting event, if it's been attended. And then the other thing that I can add is that we can count the number of appointments that were set up in that other table, so that this is now showing that they might have spent 3 meetings with me, and I want to say, okay, that's enough. These are enough free meetings. You can actually pay to book a call with me. So the question is, how do we have this connect with each other without having to pay for more or have to manually do this ourselves? And it's actually very straightforward. So we have this all set up in Fillout. I'm going to hit publish on this form. And then I'm going to introduce another tool called Make. Basically, what I'm able to do with Make is create a series of connections between my softwares and transfer that data based on specific conditions that I want. So in this case, I'm going to say example hook. Let's see if we can find it. Here we go, and hit save. What I have just set up here is a monitor, so that as soon as a form gets submitted inside of Fillout, it's going to come up here and it's going to say you have a new form that was submitted. So now the question is, how do we move this? Well, I could set something up inside of SmartSuite where we can create a record. And this is something that we have the authority to do. We just need to integrate our softwares together. And from there, we just have to map to the exact specific solution and table that we want. So in this case, I'm going to go to what's called consulting monitoring, which was what the other table was. Obviously, I think I mixed these up a little bit, but basically you'll see that we have the information here. We have a schedule that is going to appear on its own. We can list the status as scheduled. We will need to just put scheduled meeting. We'll need to put an example here as a filler test. And then, actually, let me double check one thing. So we're looking at the total meetings. And so this will allow us to map specific information where we can automatically link accounts from the people that have booked calls. Let's give this a test. And what I want to do is I want to pull information from this form that we're submitting so that we can then transfer it to a different table inside of SmartSuite. So here I'm going to make sure that the webhook is connected in Fillout, and then I'm going to hit run once. And then from there, I'm just going to fill out this form. I'm going to put in my information. I make videos, add an email address, and then I'm going to answer these questions. And then from there, I'm able to just pick off the calendar what I want, where I want to meet. So I'm going to say 11:30. Again, put in my name here. Let's do the correct email. And then from there, while we're waiting for this to run, I can then hit a test, hit schedule event, and you'll see that information is being pulled up from Fillout, and I've got it ported into SmartSuite. So if I were to go over to Consulting, this is going to have a couple of meetings already created. You'll see that I had to run a test because I forgot the correct form, but basically one of the last things we need to do here is once we have this information pulling up inside of Make, it allows us to put additional information. You can see that this allows us to not only have the answers that were submitted, but we can put things like submission IDs. We can look at the event time for the booking. So if we wanted to set a date here, we could. It even has the event URL here. So I could hit event here and map that. But then what I can do is I can just put the title of the person here that is going to be the same as the title here so that the information will map completely. Now, I know this is a little bit sloppy because I've been trying to get this video done for a while, but once we have this set up, I've mapped some information. I can take a look at submission ID and again the URL. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit run once again, and I'm going to submit this one last time just so that we can make sure that this is good to go. So I'm going to put in my info again, and then map this here. And we're going to put 20, and I'm going to say do this for noon. Put my info again. I'm going to hit, just double check one more time that this is running, hit schedule event. And you'll see that once this goes through, it's going to not only create the record here in the total meetings, but it's created information mapping my detailed meeting info. And I can open this up. It has the Google link here, and I put the ID for the form submission here. Again, I could add a lot more different details, but this allows me to now see, okay, I have booked one appointment here. But if I were to submit again with the same email address, I can just put this in, and we can do this at the same time. I don't have to put all this extra info in again. I could book it again, and you'll see, it looks like I'm running out of meeting times here, but I can put this here and schedule that. And the system's going to run so that if I were to go ahead and just refresh this page, I have to use the existing data, let this run. Should probably also turn this on as well. That's another key thing you need to do. But once this runs, I can refresh the page, and we'll see that this number has been bumped up to 2. The system knows actually not to put multiple people in with the same information. It's just going to add an extra meeting here so I can see that I have 2 here. With no code, there's so much more than just having things set to renew so it's just running in the background. It's a combination of having repetitive tasks done for you. It's making sure that your softwares are communicating with each other. It's also making sure that you can collect the information you need at a moment's notice. Going back to that example, I can quickly see at an instant when someone has, how many meetings someone has had with me. So if I do need to impose hourly consulting fees or something like that, if I wanted to, I'm able to quickly set that, and I could actually use more enhanced automations, both within SmartSuite and Make, to send invoices out for these calls as well. If you are curious about ways that you can start saving more time, I'd love to invite you to a free 30-minute consultation. This is a no strings attached call. You can book it and we can talk about what's going on. You may have automations already set up and may need some help. If we can get it fixed in those 30 minutes, great, but we can use this to get started on your no-code journey. So head to the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code floating around my head somewhere and see how much time you can save in just 30 minutes. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you got a ton of value out of this and see the potential of how no-code tools can help you in your business. Feel free to add any comments or questions down below at this video, and also consider subscribing if you want to get more information on how you can save time in your small business with no-code automations. And lastly, you may also find this video over here of interest as well, as it's going to be talking more about using CRMs in SmartSuite and taking a look at sales pipelines and how some of this can be extended. So thank you again for watching, and remember to keep working smarter.